Have you ever noticed how some men seem to draw people in effortlessly, without saying much or trying too hard? Even women who are already in relationships can't help but take notice. It's not about looks, money, or some secret dating trick. There's something deeper at play, something that makes certain men stand out in a way that others simply don't. And no, this isn't about playing games, being manipulative, or chasing people who are unavailable. It's about understanding a truth that has been known for centuries. When you master yourself, the world takes notice. There's a reason why some of the most respected and admired men in history, from ancient emperors to modern leaders, all share a certain presence that commands attention. They don't chase approval, they don't seek validation, and yet people naturally feel drawn to them. This power doesn't come from trying to impress others. It comes from within. It's a byproduct of self-mastery, and it's something you can develop too. This is where Stoicism comes in, a philosophy that has been guiding great thinkers for thousands of years. Stoicism isn't just about enduring hardship or staying calm under pressure. It's about cultivating a mindset so strong that nothing can shake you. And when you live with that kind of inner stability, confidence, and purpose, people will notice, without you having to do anything extra. Attraction isn't about tricks or tactics. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally stands out. When you embody certain traits rooted in Stoicism, you create an energy that people can't ignore. It's not about forcing connections or trying to be someone you're not. It's about becoming so grounded, so unshakable that others can't help but respect and admire you. Even those who seem completely out of reach, even those already in relationships, will feel something different when they're around you. In this video, you'll discover the 3 key Stoic principles that make a person truly magnetic. These aren't gimmicks or strategies. They are fundamental truths that can transform not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why some men naturally attract others. You'll know exactly how to develop that presence yourself. Stay with me until the end, and I promise you'll never look at attraction the same way again. Most people go through life believing that attraction is about the obvious things: good looks, money, social status. They think that if they can just dress better, earn more, or say the right words, they'll automatically become more desirable. But if that were true, every rich and well-dressed man would be irresistible. And we all know that's not the case. The truth is, attraction isn't about surface-level qualities. It's about something much deeper, something that can't be faked. What truly draws people in, especially women, even those already in relationships, is a man's energy, his presence, his ability to remain completely in control of himself no matter what happens around him. That's something most men overlook, and that's exactly why they struggle. Think about it. How many men constantly seek attention, approval, or validation? They try too hard to impress. They react emotionally to every situation, and they base their confidence on how others treat them. This kind of behavior pushes people away because it signals weakness. On the other hand, a man who is emotionally stable, independent, and grounded in his own purpose naturally stands out. He doesn't need to prove himself to anyone. He isn't easily shaken. And because of that, he earns a level of respect and admiration that can't be bought. Women, even those in committed relationships, are naturally drawn to this kind of presence. Not because he's doing anything special to get their attention, but because his energy is completely different from the average man's. Stoicism is the key to developing this kind of inner strength. It teaches you to let go of the need for external validation and to stop basing your worth on how others perceive you. It helps you build the kind of emotional control that makes you unshakable. When you stop worrying about impressing people and start focusing on mastering yourself, everything changes. You no longer chase approval. You don't react emotionally to situations. And you carry yourself with a quiet confidence that people respect. The moment you stop seeking validation from others is the moment they start noticing you in a completely different way. That's the power of self-mastery, and that's what makes a man truly attractive. Most people go through life being controlled by their emotions, reacting impulsively to every challenge, criticism, or setback. They let their mood be dictated by external circumstances, constantly seeking reassurance and approval from others. But the moment you allow something outside of yourself to control your emotions, you give away your power. This is where most men go wrong. They base their confidence on how people treat them, how successful they are, or how much validation they receive. But a man with an unshakable mindset operates differently. His emotions, self-worth, and decisions are not dictated by the world around him. He remains steady no matter what happens, and that is exactly what makes him stand out. Women, especially those in relationships, are constantly surrounded by people who seek their approval. Whether it's in real life or online, there's always someone trying to impress them, win them over, or prove their worth. But when a man comes along who doesn't need their validation, who isn't affected by whether he's admired or ignored, he becomes impossible to ignore. This kind of presence is rare. Most people are emotionally reactive, easily offended, and constantly seeking attention. But the man who carries himself with calm detachment, who doesn't flinch in the face of rejection or chase after approval, immediately sets himself apart. This is exactly what Stoicism teaches. Instead of reacting impulsively to emotions, a Stoic man learns to respond with clarity and control. He doesn't allow momentary feelings to dictate his actions. He remains composed in the face of criticism, unaffected by praise or rejection. This doesn't mean he's emotionless. It means he understands that emotions should not control him. Instead of needing external validation, he finds confidence within himself. He never seeks approval or reassurance from others because he already knows his own worth. And because of this, people, especially women, find themselves drawn to him. They sense that he is different, that he carries a strength and stability that is rare. History is filled with examples of men who embodied this mindset. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, ruled with wisdom and discipline, never allowing his emotions to cloud his judgment. He faced immense pressure, betrayal, and hardship, yet he remained calm, always making decisions based on reason rather than impulse. Epictetus, a former slave, endured hardship that would break most men, yet he remained unshaken. He understood that no matter what happened to him externally, his inner peace was within his control. These men were admired not because they sought attention, but because they were masters of themselves. They didn't react emotionally to the world adjusted to them. Cultivating this mindset isn't something that happens overnight, but there are practical steps to get there. One of the most powerful habits is journaling. Writing down your thoughts each day helps you understand your emotional triggers and see patterns in your reactions. It forces you to slow down and observe your mind rather than letting emotions control you. Another effective practice is voluntary discomfort. By intentionally putting yourself in situations that test your patience, like taking cold showers, fasting, or challenging yourself physically, you train your mind to remain calm under stress. When you learn to stay composed in difficult moments, you develop the ability to remain unshaken in any situation. Lastly, practicing neutral observation can be life-changing. Instead of reacting emotionally to a problem or an insult, take a step back and observe it as if you were watching someone else experience it. This simple shift allows you to detach from unnecessary emotions and respond with clarity rather than impulse. The psychological impact of this mindset is undeniable. When you no longer seek approval from others, people start seeking yours. Women, in particular, are naturally drawn to men who are emotionally independent and unshakable. They feel safe in the presence of a man who doesn't lose control over small things, who doesn't seek constant reassurance, who is entirely secure in himself. The moment you stop trying to prove your worth, people start noticing your value. This is the paradox of attraction. The less you chase, the more you attract. When you develop an unshakable mindset, you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. And that, more than anything, is what makes you truly magnetic. Most people spend their lives trying to control things that are completely outside their power. They worry about what others think, They try to change people's opinions, and they base their happiness on how others respond to them. But the harder you try to control external things, the more frustrated and powerless you feel. This is why so many people live in constant stress and anxiety, because they are fixated on things they have no control over. A Stoic man, however, operates differently. He understands a simple but powerful truth. The only thing he can truly control is himself. His thoughts, his actions, his responses, these are the only things within his power. Everything else, from other people's opinions to unexpected life events, is beyond his control and therefore not worth his concern. When you start living by this principle, everything changes. You stop wasting energy on things you can't influence, and instead, you focus on mastering yourself. In real life, this means letting go of the need to control others. You stop trying to make people like you. You don't get upset if someone disapproves of you. You no longer react emotionally when things don't go your way. Instead, you develop a deep sense of inner stability. You recognize that the only thing that truly matters is how you choose to respond to the world. When a man reaches this level of control, something interesting happens. He becomes naturally attractive. People, especially women, are drawn to those who seem unaffected by external circumstances. Why? Because emotional stability is rare. Most people are easily rattled by small things, constantly overthinking and desperately seeking approval. But a man who remains calm, regardless of the situation, stands out as someone with real strength. This is the paradox of detachment. The far less you try to impress people, the more impressive you become. The less you seek attention, the more people want to give it to you. Think about a man who is completely unbothered by rejection. Instead of reacting emotionally, trying to prove his worth or feeling insulted, he simply moves forward without hesitation. That kind of attitude makes him instantly high value. He is signaling that his self-worth doesn't depend on whether others approve of him. Similarly, a leader who remains calm and composed during a crisis automatically earns the respect of those around him. People trust those who don't panic, who don't overreact, and who remain in control no matter what happens. This is why Stoicism is such a powerful tool. It trains you to develop this level of emotional independence. Mastering control over yourself isn't something that happens by accident. It requires daily practice. One simple yet powerful habit is morning reflection. At the start of each day, ask yourself, what is within my control today? This keeps your focus on what truly matters and prevents you from wasting energy on things you can't change. Another effective practice is Stoic meditation. Each morning or night, take a few minutes to visualize possible hardships, a stressful situation at work, an unexpected setback, a difficult conversation. By mentally preparing yourself, you train your mind to stay calm and collected when challenges arise. Finally, the most important step is removing emotional dependency. This means no longer tying your happiness to how others react to you. Instead of seeking approval or worrying about whether people like you, focus entirely on your own growth. Read, learn, build skills, challenge yourself. The more you focus on improving yourself, the less you will care about external validation. And ironically, the more people will start respecting and admiring you. This level of emotional independence is rare, and that's exactly why it draws people in. When you don't need approval, you project confidence. When you remain in control, people naturally look up to you. The moment you stop chasing validation, you become more attractive, not just to women, but to everyone around you. People are naturally drawn to those who seem effortlessly in control, who remain steady no matter what happens. This isn't about pretending to be emotionless or acting indifferent. It's about developing a mindset where external things don't control you. The more you focus on mastering yourself, the more the world starts to take notice. Most men drift through life without a clear direction. They wake up, go through their routines, chase temporary pleasures, and seek validation from others to feel a sense of worth. But deep down, they feel lost. They rely on external approval to give them a sense of identity, which makes them easily influenced, easily swayed, and ultimately forgettable. On the other hand, a man with a strong sense of purpose is entirely different. He is focused, disciplined, and driven by something bigger than himself. He doesn't waste time seeking attention because his mind is occupied with meaningful pursuits. He doesn't beg for validation because his sense of fulfillment comes from his mission, not from the opinions of others. And because of this, people, especially women, are drawn to him. Women instinctively gravitate toward men who have direction. This isn't about money, status, or external success. It's about the energy a man carries when he is deeply engaged in something meaningful. A man with purpose radiates a quiet confidence that says, "I don't need you to complete me because I am already whole." This creates an irresistible pull. Women sense security in a man who is driven, who knows where he's going, and who isn't easily distracted. Most men are reactive to life, constantly waiting for external circumstances to dictate their next move. But a man on a mission sets his own course. His mind isn't preoccupied with whether people like him. He's too busy building something real. And ironically, the more he focuses on his path, the more attractive he becomes. The difference between a man with purpose and a man without it is easy to spot. A man without purpose constantly seeks validation, jumps from one distraction to another, and depends on external approval to feel valuable. He needs others to acknowledge him because, without that, he feels empty. On the other hand, a man with purpose moves differently. His focus is on his goals, his vision, and his personal growth. He doesn't waste time proving himself because his work speaks for itself. This level of self-sufficiency is rare, and it makes him stand out. When a man lives with purpose, people naturally respect him, not because he demands it, but because he carries himself with certainty and intention. Stoicism provides a clear path to cultivating this sense of purpose. One of the simplest yet most powerful practices is daily goal setting. Each morning, take a moment to define what truly matters and set meaningful objectives. Ask yourself, what is the most important thing I need to do today? This small habit keeps you focused and prevents you from getting lost in distractions. Another key principle is emphasizing virtue. The Stoics believe that a man's purpose should be rooted in integrity, courage, and wisdom. This means making decisions based on what is right, not what is easy. Living with virtue builds an unshakable foundation of self-respect, and when you respect yourself, others naturally follow. Lastly, one of the biggest obstacles to purpose is distraction. In a world filled with constant noise, it's easy to lose focus. Avoid unnecessary emotional entanglements, meaningless pursuits, and time-wasting activities. The more disciplined you are with your energy, the more powerful your presence becomes. This leads to one of the most underrated but essential aspects of attraction: presence. A man who is fully engaged in the moment has an undeniable impact on those around him. When he listens deeply. When he speaks with intention. His attention isn't scattered. It's fully here, fully present. This level of presence is rare because most people are distracted, always thinking about what to say next, worried about how they are perceived, or lost in their own thoughts. But when a man is fully present, people feel it. Women in particular are drawn to this energy. It makes them feel seen, heard, and valued. And when someone makes them feel that way, they naturally want to be around him. A man who embodies purpose and presence doesn't chase others. He attracts them effortlessly. He doesn't need to impress because his life speaks for itself. He is calm, collected, and focused on what truly matters. And in doing so, he becomes the kind of man that people, even those in committed relationships, find themselves drawn to without even understanding why. Attraction is not always about words or actions. It's about the energy you carry. When a man embodies the qualities of Stoicism, he naturally stands out. His emotional stability, self-sufficiency, and quiet confidence create a magnetic presence that people, including married women, can't help but notice. But let's be clear. This isn't about pursuing unavailable people or trying to interfere in relationships. It's about understanding why certain qualities command attention regardless of circumstances. A man who is deeply secure within himself exudes an energy that is rare in a world full of insecurity and emotional instability. The truth is, attraction isn't always intentional, it's instinctive. People are drawn to those who radiate inner strength, control, and purpose. Many married women, like anyone else, are surrounded by men who constantly seek validation, who are emotionally unpredictable, or who lack a strong sense of self. In contrast, a man who remains centered, who doesn't crave approval, and who operates with quiet confidence offers something different. He represents stability, depth, and a kind of emotional security that many find deeply compelling. It's not about actively trying to attract anyone. It just happens as a natural consequence of becoming a strong, self-sufficient individual. What's fascinating is the unintended effect of embodying Stoic principles. When you stop seeking validation from others, they start seeking it from you. This shift is powerful because most people are used to being pursued, flattered, or impressed. But when they encounter someone who isn't trying to win them over, who is simply focused on his own path, it disrupts their expectations. It makes them curious. It makes them intrigued. Even those in committed relationships may find themselves drawn to that energy, not necessarily in a romantic way, but in a way that signals deep admiration and respect. The core of this, the takeaway, is simple. This isn't about chasing anyone, and it's certainly not about breaking relationships. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally commands attention and respect. When you build yourself into a high-value individual, when you live with purpose, emotional control, and presence, people will notice. And whether they are single, married, or otherwise committed, they will recognize something rare in you. That's the power of true self-mastery. The power of Stoicism isn't just in understanding these principles. It's in living them every single day. If you truly want to become the kind of man who naturally commands attention and respect, you need to internalize these 3 core ideas. First, develop an unshakable mindset. When you master emotional control and refuse to let external circumstances dictate your mood or self-worth, people take notice. Second, focus only on what you can control. Most people waste their energy trying to change things outside their power, whether it's others' opinions, circumstances, or outcomes. A Stoic man directs all his energy toward his own actions, choices, and growth. And finally, live with purpose and presence. A man who is fully engaged in his mission, who moves with intention, becomes impossible to ignore. But knowing these principles isn't enough. You have to practice them daily. One of the most effective ways to cultivate a Stoic mindset is through meditation and self-reflection. Take time each morning to ground yourself, to remind yourself of what truly matters, and to let go of anything outside your control. Another powerful habit is avoiding reactive behavior. Most people go through life constantly reacting, getting upset over small things, feeling anxious about how others perceive them, or letting external events control their emotions. Instead, train yourself to pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Is this within my control? This simple practice can completely shift the way you navigate the world. Commitment to personal growth is also essential. A man who is always learning, improving, and refining himself naturally becomes more attractive. Read, exercise, challenge yourself, and keep setting goals. When you become genuinely engaged in your own progress, you stop seeking external validation, because your sense of fulfillment comes from within. And when that happens, people can sense it. Attraction has never been about tricks or tactics. It's about who you are at your core. The key to effortless attraction isn't trying to impress others. It's becoming the kind of person who impresses naturally. When you live with emotional strength, self-control, and purpose, you won't need to chase attention. People, women, men, even those in committed relationships, will feel drawn to the energy you carry. Not because you're trying to be noticed, but because true self-mastery is rare, and anything rare is impossible to ignore. At the heart of everything we've discussed one truth stands above all. Attraction isn't something you chase. It's something you become. When you focus on mastering yourself, refining your mindset, and living with purpose, the way people respond to you changes effortlessly. This isn't about tricks, tactics, or trying to manipulate anyone's perception of you. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to play games because his presence alone speaks volumes. True confidence, emotional control, and a clear sense of direction are rare qualities, and anything rare naturally commands attention. If there's one thing to take away from this, it's that real attraction is a byproduct of self-mastery. When you no longer depend on validation, when you stop being reactive, and when you start living for something greater than external approval, people notice. They feel the shift in your energy. They sense your stability and purpose. And that, more than any words or actions, is what makes you stand out. You don't have to chase anyone. You don't have to convince people of your value. When you embody these principles, the right people will be drawn to you on their own. Now, if you're ready to take these Stoic principles and apply them to your life, I want you to comment "peaceful philosophy" below. Let this be your commitment to living with strength, purpose, and emotional control. And if you want to continue growing and mastering yourself, make sure to subscribe for more insights on Stoicism and personal transformation. This journey isn't about impressing others. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Remember this: your greatest power isn't in chasing people, seeking approval, or trying to impress. It's in mastering yourself. The moment you fully embrace that, everything else falls into place. The world respects those who respect themselves first. So focus on becoming that person, and the right people, the ones who truly recognize your value, will come to you.